do you think you should introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen and the girls and boys? You think you should do that around Pen Day? Yes, I am doing that now, thank you very much. My name is Ken Jevons, and I am an orang pendek, as you can see, an upright walking egg. Contrary to popular belief, I am not from the Indonesian island of Sumatra. No, I come from Catford. I work for the Catford Municipal Town Council as a council ombudsman, where I am looking into, at the moment, job duplication, and then I am laughing at the resulting redundancies that my investigation has caused. I am also an aspiring stand-up comedian. You're a stand-up comedian? Yes, I am an aspiring stand-up comedian. Are you going to tell us some jokes then? I'll give it a go, yes. All right, far away. What do badgers like best of all? I don't know, what do badgers like best of all? Enrichment. That's pretty good, actually. Have you got any more? Yes, I've got lots more. I have many more here. Where do fish keep their scissors? I don't know. Where do fish keep their scissors? In a modern Tower of Babel. Yeah, you're going places. You're going places like. I can see you getting your own show. Anyways, we are supposed to be introducing the first speaker here tonight. Is he here? Have we got the first speaker? Oh, he's here, yeah. Oh. Now, this guy, Matthew Williams, he has come here today to talk about his bike. It is a girl's bike. It is pink. It has a basket on it. Girls go on it. It is a girl's bike. Matthew Williams and his girl's bike. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, nice to see so many faces in the audience tonight. It's hard to get people on a Friday evening to come to these things, but thanks very much. I'm going to give you a world exclusive tonight. It hasn't been advertised because John was a bit worried that I might not turn up, so you'd all be here, so I paid for the world exclusive and he's not here. You are going to get something tonight that hasn't been done before, really, I don't think, in terms of crop circles, and it's certainly going to cause a few reverberations in the crop circle community, but I'm certainly known for that. So, can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Brilliant, okay. Right, the exclusive. I'm going to do the undoable, the unspeakable tonight, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but due to legal reasons, which involved me being arrested in 2000 for making crop circles, I'm the only person in the United Kingdom to be arrested for making crop circles, and this came about by me wanting to tell people what was going on and telling them a little bit too much about things I was doing that were illegal. And when that happens, you do get the police turn up at your house, and 16 police officers came to my house and turned the place over. And I said, yes, I did indeed send the diagram of a circle I was going to make to Whitley Stryber in the United States, and he was meant to keep it secret, but he didn't, and then the police got involved, and that was that. I was arrested and thrust into the media spotlight as a circle maker, which wasn't known up to that point by most people, and now it allows me to talk a lot more about what circle making is. And since it was about 10 years ago, probably not much longer than we are now, we're on the sort of 10th anniversary of my arrest about now, and I thought I'd take things to the next level. So now, with 10 years between my arrest and when I stopped making circles, I thought I would tell you all the circles I've made up to 2000, because I think a 10-year gap is okay. I think I might be pushing my luck by doing this, but let's just see. I mean, the last time I got arrested, I got a £125 fine. That was for 2 circles, which I admitted to. The 7-fold star, which you'll see in a minute, and also the basket weave formation, which a lot of people thought was just out there, could not be created by people. And I said, well, you know, I want to be remembered. If I don't make any more crop circles ever again, then I want to be remembered for a good one I did, not the 7-fold star. So I fessed up to the basket weave as well. Now, I don't think 10 years ago, everything back that far, back to 1992, I don't think anybody's actually going to really want to put a case together against me to criminally prosecute. I could be wrong, but then again, it does kind of backfire on these researchers. If they push the farmers and make the farmers want to arrest me, then it backfires on them because it gets loads of publicity, yet again, for the fact that people are making the circles, which is what the researchers don't want you to think. The researchers want you to believe it's aliens making the circles. Now, so I'm going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, so we haven't got much time. I've got about 30 minutes. I'm going to cram about, I think, 85 slides in. And I'm just going to very quickly go through some of them. The early ones are obviously not as complicated when I first started as the ones later on. There are going to be some circles in here that I've probably put 1 or 2 in here thinking, that was me, wasn't it? And it wasn't me that made that circle. It may be that I will be corrected on this by other teams that say, actually, man, that was not you. And I'm going to say, okay, that was one of the ones I was on the fence about. Because I've actually got a pretty bad memory. I have to go to the other circle makers to check facts a lot of the time, and you know, who was there in the circle when we were making it. I can't tell you, and you wouldn't believe how many times the circle makers I've worked with have been really angry with me because I've not remembered that he was there and he was there, you know, and I can't remember exactly. Some of these formations, they look similar to each other, and I think I might have 1 or 2 I might have picked the wrong ones. So let's move on. So first crop circle, Bishops Cannings. I live in Bishops Cannings, by the way. You're going to see Bishops Cannings appearing a lot tonight. Yes, it's great. Let me take the lights on a bit. Thank you. So, Bishops Cannings, nothing too clever. We'll just skip on really quickly. Low-res photos. Unfortunately, I had to take these off the internet. I didn't have good quality photos of these myself. So, these are coming off the internet. I mean, I've talked in previous lectures about doing crap. Yes? This is crap. Okay? This is to see whether people will take that seriously. You know, will the researchers like it or loathe it? And usually they get quite excited and interested by what it is. You know, it's like, oh, look at the mysterious design. It's not like all the geometric ones. It's trying to tell us something different. You know, it's like, so generally the researchers will tend to embrace most crop circles as being real, unless they're specifically told in advance that they are man-made, in which case, of course, if you tell a researcher before you're going to make a circle it's man-made, they go, yeah, that's crap, it looks nothing like real ones. You see, so that's how that works. So if you keep it quiet, then all of these circles you're probably going to see tonight have been hailed as wonderful in some way, and they get better as they go along. So this is Woodborough Hill. This was an experiment to sort of see if they could decipher something out of the squiggles that we were creating. Would they actually be able to make something of this? And lots of people did have a go at it. I'm not going to go into exactly what they said, but yeah, a lot of people had a go at trying to decipher these things. But there's a lot of circles that aren't in this list tonight as well. The reason being is the internet hasn't got a proper catalogue of every single crop circle that's out there. There are some that should be in there that are really good crop circles that I just can't find. One is called the Stingray. You won't see that in this list tonight. And it's a shame, but I tried to get as many as I could, haven't managed to get all of them. And using visual records, I've probably missed a lot, because if they're not there, I kind of forget which ones they are. There's some which I'm missing. Okay, so we're going through simple circles here. I just wanted to give you an example that people in other parts of the country, this is not one of mine, but this is an example of just a squiggle in a field. But it's amazing that this is considered a crop circle. You know, there's just a little meandering squiggle in a field. This would be considered a crop circle. So, this one in East Kennet. This is rapeseed. This is a bit early in the season when rape appears. Roundway. And as you can see, I'm just skipping along here, but this is going to be a record, which is going to be on the internet as well, so people will be able to reference back. to what I'm saying here. I remember this one, it was kind of like, what do we do here? I don't know, let's do a circle. Well, let's give it little antlers, and let's do a crescent, and let's just wander off, and let's make a galaxy, and I know, let's walk down the field and make a squiggle next to it that looks like it might not be something to do with the same circle, and then they'll get confused because that looks different to that. So when did they both appear? You know, and it's like just to get people talking and asking questions. But in the early days, I was doing squiggles a lot. So then, I think that is out of sequence now. Why have I done that? I've done that for a reason. I have been part of teams that have done very impressive formations. Now, I will say that my standard of work is not the pièce de résistance of the crop circles that are out there. I'm not the best artist. I'm certainly not the worst artist, but I'm not the most adventurous artist. I would rather work on a team that's doing a very complicated design and work under the guidance of the team leader who's got the design and tells you do that, do this, and you go off and you do it, rather than, you know, setting myself a massive task and having to execute the whole thing. I'm a little bit lazy. I like to do smaller circles that are less impacting. They don't take up so much size, they don't upset the farmer so much. I like to do those things because you can actually get some time to sit down as well and have a chat with people instead of having to work like as if it's a I've got to be careful about saying military operation, you know, because people get upset when you say, like, you know, it was like a military operation, because of course there's are people out there that say that, you know, I'm a government agent and the other circle makers are government agents and we're all getting paid to tell people that we make circles, and it's not true because it's really the aliens. That isn't true. I wish I had some money from government sources that I did to go out and make circles. That would be great, you know, but they'd still be our circles, you know. But no, I've never been approached, and anyone who deviates from telling you that it's aliens making the crop circles immediately becomes a government agent. So Andrew Perker, this guy who's got this Facebook page called Reporter Crop Circle, and he was hardcore, you know, these circle makers are such... We've got children in the audience. No?
Yes.
Bar stewards. These children, yes, these circle makers are bar stewards. And yes, they very nasty people, and you really wouldn't like them. He's flipped over this year. He's realised that people making the circles, he's actually caught some people making the crop circles. And he's saying now that 99.1% of crop circles he thinks are, you know, made by people. And he's leaving a little window of doubt open there. And I like these statistics. It's like Vic Reeves said, 97.21815% of all statistics are made up. You know, you find a lot of statistics in the crop circle world. Right, this particular circle, you could say that it was an experiment of sorts, not by myself. The ones with exclamation marks on are to state that that's not my circle. But what I'm trying to show you here is that there were teams working back in the day, and let's say if they were doing things like this, they were getting themselves ready to be working at a point where they'd eventually be able to create things like this. And of course, you need to learn how to make lots of little squares before you can start filling them in to do designs like that, or like that. So things progress on. Things start off basic and they get more complicated, and that's what crop circles is. If you look at my designs, they were very basic, but they start to get a little bit more complicated. Now, we're all the way up to 1998. There's a bit of a gap here. A lot of circles which don't appear in the record. And I think we probably go backwards in a minute, because I'm sure I had some before 1998. But anyway, let's skip on. All Cannings. Simple circles. Only a couple of tram lines across. It's usually a good way to gauge how big these things are. Now getting a little bit more complicated, more geometry involved, but actually, even though that looks very complicated, you'd be surprised that everything in that circle is really made, I'm thinking, if I'm correct now in looking back, it's made with two measurements. The measurement from there to there to create this initial circle, and then the measurement from there to there to create the radius, which is copied 6 times around the edge. 6 times. Yeah, 6. That number 6. It's a magical number in crop circles. It's a magical number for geometry. It does appear a lot because, strangely enough, 6 magically is the amount of times, whoops, I got that in there. 6 is the magical number that the radius of a circle will subdivide the circumference exactly 6 times. So we think that that's the reason that so many circle makers are fascinated with 6. Saying about the demon stuff, out, demon out earlier on, I almost had to get up and I was getting forced to leave the room at that point, and Ol here, he sort of held me down, and sort of that's how I managed to remain in the room. But I get accused of being a demonic force. I've had this said about me. So much so that I've kind of played up to it. You know, oh, you want to call me a demon, do you? Right, well, I'll call my YouTube channel Truth Seekers 666. It was really because the channel Truth Seekers was taken, so I had to get something memorable, and 666 on the end does get everybody asking questions, doesn't it? And if I'm called a demon, then I might as well go, well, maybe I am, or not, as the case may be. So I'm certainly playing up to that one. All Cannings. This was done in a strange type of crop. I think it was linseed, this crop. And it's a blue crop. Very hard to work in. It was rubbish. I wouldn't do it in it again, I know that. This was known as the Titanic triangle. Now, I said you can usually gauge the size of a crop circle by how many tram lines it crosses. In this case, it's deceiving because these tram lines are extremely wide. This was a very large crop circle, probably about over 300, 400 feet on the edges there. We had to join up 2 tapes together to get the edges. Very large, but this was hailed as, wow, this is just the best crop circle in ages when it first came out. We weren't expecting people to react like that. It was a different type of design, and some people dubbed it the Queen. And I can kind of see why they might have dubbed it the Queen. At the time that we designed it, we didn't think of that ourselves, but this kind of looks like eyes, and this could be the mouth, and this could be the head wearing a hat, and it could have a crown on it. And, you know, I can kind of see why people might think that. This was actually decided upon being put in on the night. It wasn't on the paper. So it was something that we decided to do on the night, and it may have influenced the way people actually perceived that formation. Now, I've told people in the past, I haven't got a lot of time to go into it now, but I do believe, and you're going to think, but I thought he was a skeptic. I thought he was telling us that all crop circles are made by people. Yes, I am, but I do believe in paranormal powers, and I've had strange things happen to me whilst making crop circles. I've also had a lot of paranormal experiences in my life, but I know this for certain. Making crop circles brought an extra level of paranormal activity in my life whilst making the circles and generally across the board. Things started happening because I was making crop circles. And I started all of this as an experiment to see, could it be done? Would the researchers take it seriously? Was the work that we were creating as good as the work of others? Would it be taken seriously, basically? And yes, it was. But even stranger than that, whilst we were making these circles, simply as an experiment, we had strange things happen to us. I've talked about this being a formation, but I've not been able to name that this was the formation it happened in. We had a fog bank come down over the field and cover us whilst we were making the formation. Now, we knew that there was a team of people who had an astronomy telescope with them. We could see them about 400 feet away. And we knew that if we worked in this field, that we would be so close to those people, they would be able to hear us and see us. It was that clear. We could see them, and we said it would be crazy to try and work that close to people who were watching that field and sky watching. And I even walked to the top of the field, walked in and confirmed that there were people there and that they would be able to see us if we did it. And I went back and I told my friend Paul, he doesn't live in the UK anymore, but I told Paul, I said, mate, it's crazy, we can't do it. We can't do it. And he said, yeah, it's just crazy that we can't do it. I said, do you know what though? I get this really weird feeling inside that we should do it. this is just, we're going to get caught, this is stupid, but I just get this feeling we should do it. And he said, yeah, do you know, you're saying that, I kind of feel it too. And I'm like, let's go with our feelings, let's just try and do it then. So we made this circle, we didn't specifically make any noise, we didn't shout, you know, we just kept to ourselves. But they should have been able to see us, and they should have been able to hear something at that distance. They never came in. We got away with making the circle. I asked afterwards who that team was, because I walked through them, and I had my collar up, and I sort of went, evening, oh, sky watching, is it? Oh, good night. And we just went through. They didn't know who I was, but I found out who they were afterwards. Asked them the question, did you see anybody making this crop circle? And they said, no, it was really weird, because we had a really clear night, and then all of a sudden a fog bank descended over that part of the field, and we couldn't see anything. And in the morning, it lifted up, and there was the crop circle. Now, I have no doubt, I don't have any reason to doubt these people's saying that. I mean, I've experienced a lot of weird things in crop circles. Time dilation effects, rain stopping overhead so that we weren't being rained on in the crop circle whilst it was raining outside. Seeing black figures that you would think are team members, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, you're counting the team members, and you go 5. Oh, hang on. So you look around, and then you see, no, there's a team member there, standing right next to me. So you look back, and it's 1, 2, 3. You know, so it's like, hang on, there's one gone. And then people have said, yeah, I saw somebody there, and then I looked away, and then he was gone. And it's like people have seen black figures in the crop circles, which is quite interesting. There's been photographs taken of these black figures, and they seem to be blacker than the rest of the photograph. Very interesting. But there's a lot of paranormal stuff goes on, more than I've got time to talk about tonight. But please talk to me afterwards if you wish to hear any more about that, or go to the YouTube channel, if you can stand the swearing and the sarcasm. Right, Bishops Cannings, again, that's where I live, Bishops Cannings. Woodborough Hill. This one went a bit wrong and we walked away from it, but we should have perhaps filled in that area and that area, and then this would have looked uniform. But the whole thing went wrong, and we just walked away and left it as it was. But we could have got away with it if we just filled in those areas. It would have looked like a uniform shape, but hey-ho, didn't think of that. Yeah, right, look at this. Nice circle, copyright Lucy Pringle. And we'll come back to this copyright Lucy Pringle thing in a second, because I now have to, because it upsets me when people put their name over the crop circle. Because, which is more important, copyright Lucy Pringle or the crop circle? Well, apparently it's copyright Lucy Pringle. So, if there are any children in the audience, I'm sorry about this, but I now have to put that word over the copyright Lucy Pringle. She's not a very nice lady, really. You know, I would stand up on a stage with anybody and discuss these things. If they're a researcher, if they want to disagree with me, that's fine. Lucy Pringle has actively sought to shut down us as circle makers a number of times, and at lectures I've given, and I've been invited, and it's been known for many months in advance that I'm going to be speaking there, giving a lecture. Lucy Pringle has on the day, and she's not the only one to do this, but she's on the day, she said, if you let him speak today, I'm not speaking. And the organisers are like, oh God, you know, what the hell do we do? And this sort of childish behaviour, which is why I feel it's okay to be childish, like that. So, yes, hairstyle. This was a crop circle which was meant to signify the eclipse, and you can see the various stages of the eclipse, which to sort of excite people. This was a winged disc, which is an Egyptian Mayan type idea, which we thought would excite the imagination of various people, and did. Bishops Cannings went a bit wrong again. You can see the tips have kind of cut into the edge. And for people who say there are never any mistakes in crop circles, yes, there are lots and lots of mistakes. Even on the biggest, best crop circles, if you look, you will find mistakes. And I've helped people to understand how to find these on many occasions. We'll see if we can find some that actually do show you how to spot a circle as man-made. This one, weird story behind this one, 2 sets of teams. This has happened on more than one occasion. 2 sets of teams get the inspiration, go and make a crop circle. Okay. They get a design together. Okay. They go to a field, 2 teams, same field. How far apart? 1 tram line apart. Working in the same area of the field. Both teams didn't know the other team were there. The designs are both elongated in nature. I've talked about this, but I've never been able to name where it was. I'm doing it for the first time tonight. So that's our snake. That's the snake I designed. It's not a brilliant shot. Oh, hang on, we've got another one. Yeah, oh, there we are. Copyright crapo. This is, I like this. I like the lay. The lay goes in different directions. You can see there's an inner lay that goes up through the centre like a spinal column. And so it changes direction from the outer lay. And couldn't quite decide how to do the head. So we made that up on the day. We knew we needed a head, but we just, oh, let's just try and do something that looks okay on the night, you know, well, on the night, not the day. Anyway, this one appeared, and loads of people went crazy over this. And even one last little thing which was kind of interesting is that the head just happens to point towards the tail of this. So the actual, the snake is down here, if you can imagine. It's about there, and its head is pointing towards the tail of that one. Which is, you know, maybe just coincidence, but I found it quite interesting. But as I say, it's not the only time it's happened. I'll show you another crop circle in a minute where coincidence, you know, the chances are just unbelievable on what I'm just about to tell you in a minute. Bring me back to it, Avebury. If I forget, bring me back to it. Matt, Avebury story. I think I'll remember. Okay. I haven't put something over this one, I forgot, but there we are. Copyright Lucy Pringle. You can see now her name has crept up from the edges of the picture into the middle. Now they're on the crop circle. They're actually on the crop circle now. You know, so this winds me up. Anyway, can you see these lines that go along? This is how to spot a crop circle is man-made. Because the stomper boards that we use, which are about 1 metre wide, when we've walked along the edges, we actually line the edges with our feet. So we walk sideways with our feet. So you've got the distance, you've got the distance of a foot's width, probably about a foot, and that's what you create the outer circle with. And then once you create your lines, they'll be a foot width as well, you need to fill them in. When you fill them in, you fill them with a 1 metre wide board. If you go back and check most crop circles, you will find that the outer edge has been flattened to within the distance of a foot line. And you will see that the inner parts are all flattened with what we call combing. It's like putting a comb through your hair and having gel in your hair. You're going to leave comb marks behind. And that can be measured, and each one of these will be about 1 metre across. If you do that, you will work out the crop circles are man-made. One of many ways to work out. The researchers, it's like, you know, it's a vacuum out there. So, anyway, Lucy was getting to me. You know, I wasn't happy about this business of her taking over the photos with her name. So, I did that. In the fields. You know, the joker in me just couldn't be suppressed, unfortunately. And then Peter Sorensen thought it would be funny to put his name across the top of it and sort of mimic the Lucy Pringle, so he put his name across the top of it. So, I did this in the wrong order. I got the slides in the wrong order, damn. So it was meant to be that one, then it was meant to be that one, and then it's meant to be that one. Now you know, Lucy. We love you so. Okay, Silbury Hill. Again, you know, a nice circle, lots of people enjoyed it. If you look at the edges, you're going to find the marks. They're not quite so evident, but they are there in stripes. And guess what? Are you spotting it? Anybody spotted it? What are we seeing up there? Lucy Pringle's moved over to the corner. So my little plan worked. Lucy Pringle thought that the aliens had written the word Lucy Pringle in the field. Copyright Lucy Pringle. They're trying to communicate back to me because I better not put my name over the circles. Maybe they're trying to tell me something. Yes, the aliens were trying to tell you something, Lucy, and you thankfully got it. So, Beckhampton, near Avebury. How are we doing on slides? Around 37. And we got, how long have we got? Anybody know? Till 5 past, 10 past, 7? Oh, sorry, 8.
20 minutes?
I've got 20 minutes. Oh, that's loads. That's great. Okay, this was an interesting one. Mistakes never happen in crop circles. Yes, they do. And what happens when you make a mistake? If you can repair it by lifting the crop up. and the crop will stand itself back up. It will even repair itself, so it will stand up in blowing the wind. If it's too big, if you've made too much of a boo-boo, then you've got an option. Flatten it out and put something else there, which attracts the eye away from the mistake. And this is what happened here. Great crop circle, lovely geometry, all perfect except something went wrong up here. Oh, sorry, something went wrong up here. And what we ended up doing is just flattening that area. So, you know, it looks like you've got a three-dimensional effect, but it was just decided on the night because of a mistake. Now, this is the one I was telling you about. This is the Avebury one. We told people about this. I did tell one researcher who was there. It's really good, I think, that I can now tell you which formation this was, because this is a really strange experience. Sitting in the house at 11 o'clock at night, I get an inspiration. Got to go out and make a circle. Don't know why. I mean, I'm lazy, you know. I don't often get these kind of like, I must make a crop circle, because I'd do it earlier on in the evening. I'd get a team together. You got time to prepare. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've got to make a crop circle. I'm like, oh, why? I don't want to do this now. It's late. I'm not going to get anybody. I'll have to do this. How can I do this? I can't do a crop circle on my own. How can I do a crop circle on my own? Well, I suppose I could use a tripod, a big tripod. I could weight the tripod down and I could kind of put a tape on it and I could use that. Okay. I could go out and make a crop circle on my own. Let's give it a go. Let's try it out. So I thought, well, where am I going to do it? Well, I'll do it small because I won't be able to use too much tape. Because if you imagine that tripod over there in the corner, imagine you can put its legs out a little bit, but if you pull hard, it's still going to fall over, even if it's weighted down with a bag underneath it. So I decided to keep it small, because you don't want to use too much tape. The sag in the tape will actually pull the tripod over, so it had to be a very small circle. And you can see, it actually just comes in between two standard crop circle lines, and you can see the size of it there. So me standing in the middle, with a tripod, going to the edge, it's not much more than from there to that tripod, probably, about the same distance. So it's a small circle, and it was six-fold geometry, which was easy to replicate because the radius goes into the circumference, the edge of the circle, 6 times. So all I have to do is stand in place, use the same measurement, and the tripod becomes there then, and I walk around there. Then the tripod comes there, and I walk around there. The tripod comes there, and I walk around there. The tripod comes there, and I walk around there. The tripod there, tripod there. You get the idea. Quite simple. You can do that on your own. Thing is, when I got there to this field, walked in, I heard people singing and it sounded like playing music on a guitar. So I'm like, oh sugar, what am I going to do here? There's people very close by. I have to be careful, Of course, I think to myself, well, I might be protected in some way, like we were before. I've got that sort of in the back of my mind, because I'm a believer in the paranormal being behind crop circles, but they're not making crop circles. The paranormal is behind crop circles. It's behind the people that make the crop circles, and it's there for the people who visit them. That's what crop circles are about. It's the inspiration which people get to go make crop circles comes from somewhere. It comes from somewhere, and this is maybe one that will help you understand that. I went to this field, and there were these people. They were maybe about 200 feet away, really close, and I wasn't going to make any noise apart from the stomping. But 200 feet is not a lot. It's not a lot. You're talking like double the length of this room, something like that maybe. Not a lot at all. So I worked very closely and quickly to make this formation, and I got out of there, and again I went to find out who these people were, and whether or not there was anything strange connected with the fact that this circle appeared. And it turned out it was somebody I knew called Diane Krishna. Now, Diane Krishna is very well known in crop circles and a researcher. She's not so much around anymore, but certainly very important, well-known name in the day. I asked her what her connection was with this, because I heard that she'd been there as part of this group that were nearby. And she said, yes, it's so amazing. We went there to meditate. We got there, and we were all meditating on a 6-fold flower pattern design. And lo and behold, about, so many yards or feet in front of us, just where we were, the design came. And I said, well, did you see anything or hear anything? She says, no, didn't hear a thing. And I said, well, so what were you doing? You were meditating? She's like, yeah, we were all meditating on this design. We were meditating, asking for it. I said, playing music or like talking? She said, no, we were completely quiet the whole time. You weren't playing music? No. And you weren't chatting? No. No guitars? No. I'm like, I've got to tell you something. That was me. And I knew you were there because I heard voices and guitars, and you say that you didn't have any. She's like, no, we didn't have any. But I think that I was meant to be kind of alerted, so I wasn't casual about how I was doing things. Because if they were sitting there, and I was starting to bang around because I thought nobody was there, like banging the tripod about, ding ding, and doing that sort of thing, they might have heard that and made it come in. So maybe I was being subtly warned. And why would I get the inspiration to come out of the house at 11 o'clock at night, just feel so charged, I must do this, and I come and do the design they're asking for? I find that fantastic. That's what crop circles is about. The people who make crop circles are part of the phenomena. The people who research them are part of the phenomena. There shouldn't be this divide and hatred between us, but we are demonized as the artists that create the circles. We're hated, and very few people accept from the research side, very few people accept that we are making circles. Most of them would like to say we make no circles, and the only circles we make are the crap ones, and this is mostly why it's kept secret, because you want people to actually like your work, and if you tell them it's man-made, they say it's crap. If you don't tell them anything, they go, it's wonderful, and you get coachloads of visitors coming, and if you say, well, we did that as a demonstration, they'll not be interested. Anyway, this is one of the most famous ones I've done, not the only one, but one of the most famous, the basket weave. Now, a lot of people said there's no way this can be done. Absolutely no way. It wasn't even something we planned to do on the night. The design was not my design. The person I went with, who actually did the design, he said, oh, let's flatten it down. And I said, well, let's do something different. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, let's not just flatten it, like we always do. Let's do something weird. He said, well, what? I'm like, well, I don't know, let's go up and down and make some patterns, let's make some, if you go up and miss a line, and go down and miss a line, and then you could probably make something that looks like a basket weave, like a knotting effect. And he was like, I don't think it'll work. I was like, no, it'll work, try it. And he was like, no, we've got a good circle here, let's not wreck it, yeah? And I was like, no, it'll be good. No. I said, look, I'm going to just do it, okay? He's like, okay, but you're going to wreck this. And I'm like, okay, so we did this. It was on the spur of the moment, and people just went nuts over it. He actually left that formation saying, I think you've made a real pig's ear of this, and thanks very much for wrecking the circle design. And I'm like, okay. And I went home like, and then I was like, in the morning, and then people were going nuts over this. So, and you can see some of the basket weave there. And that's appeared many other times now. Other teams have mimicked the basket weave, and I have done other basket weave formations as well since then. This is, oh, by the way, they're all Bishops Cannings as well. That's Bishops Cannings, the basket weave. Bishops Cannings again, very simple, grey alien head. When the formation, the basket weave was shaped out the same day by the farmer, he was a bit upset. He thought it was the work of Satan. So he didn't want anyone visiting the work of Satan on his land, Christian bloke, and he shaped it out. So we came back and we just did loads of squiggles. And we thought, well, we're not going to do anything big because he's just going to shape it out again. Let's just put loads of squiggles all over the place, and then you'll have to shape out a massive area to get rid of them. So, just did a couple of squiggles. But Bishops Cannings. Another one of Bishops Cannings got shaped out. Bishops Cannings again, Eastfield, a little experiment to get 5-fold geometry, a pentagram, into a 6-fold star. Just as a bit of fun, to see if you can get 5 fitting into 6. Furze Hill, just an experiment in rapeseed at the beginning of the season. I don't like doing stuff in rapeseed because it's hard working. Right, there's a mistake in this one. People say there's no mistakes in crop circles. 5 minutes, yeah? Okay, no problem, that's okay.
You worried me when I saw you were done at 2000.
Oh yeah.
Go 5 minutes.
Oh, we finished at 2000 though, because You weren't here to hear the beginning, were you?
Oh, good.
There we are.
Yeah.
We finished at 2000, you're okay. Right, can you see the mistake? Can you work out why there was a mistake? Because when people flatten, they come to a line and they stop. So they flatten and they come to a line and stop. They came to a line and stopped, but it was actually a tram line. You've got to be aware of these things when you're flattening stuff down and work out whether or not that's really the edge you should be flattening to. But, you know, you can see in the middle of this one, you can see the markings which would give you an indication of 1 metre board width flattening. So, this one is another one of mine. Again, here, you can maybe just about see around the edge that there's a line that goes all the way around the outside. So, it's different to the flattening that goes on in here. So, I would ask the question, if this was an alien force that's able to sort of flatten these things remotely, i.e. not with their feet, you know, because if they're using their feet, if the aliens are actually using their feet to flatten these, then they're doing it the same way as humans would do it. And they're breaking the crop when they do it. You hear people say the crop isn't broken, it is broken. Okay, don't listen to that. You hear about the blown nodes, microwave blown nodes. Yes, that all came from Dr. Levengood. Dr. Levengood is not a doctor. He faked, he's not a doctor. Well done, Dr. Levengood. So all that research about the blown nodes is now, ooh, should I believe that, shouldn't I believe it? Professor Glickman, not a professor, lied about being a professor. You know, these are the types of people who are telling you the wonderful stories about crop circles and why they scientifically couldn't be made by people. Don't believe it, do your own research. Bishops Cannings again, very quickly going through. That one shows the light up a little bit better. And we're skipping on very quickly now. This was done in 2 nights. That was night 1. People got a bit spooked, left the formation, finished it off. That's where it ended up as night 2. Interesting story behind this one. 2 formations created next to each other. This one was made as a commission for a lesbian wedding. The farmer was paid in the morning. The lesbonauts, whatever you call them, came to the field, and they had jugglers and people playing musical instruments, and doing all sorts of great things. Videoed, it was wonderful. They all left, and then Francine Blake turns up, one of the researchers. She speaks to the farmer. She says, "Can I go and see the crop circle?" He goes, "Yes, by all means, but you do know it's man-made." She says, "Oh, really?" Yes, it's for a lesbian wedding. They've all been and gone. They had a great time. They commissioned it. You know, it's in the shape of a heart for the love and all that. And she's like, "Oh, great, great." She goes back to her conference, full of about 700 people in a hall, very much like this, but a lot more people. And she goes, "Yes, the heart, isn't it wonderful? We know of no reason that this could be man-made." Dun, 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 dun. And you think that happens? That doesn't happen. It happens a lot. This one was a mistake. Couldn't finish it because we got confused. This was a weird one. Got so confused. That doesn't happen, but on this one it did. Got so confused, even though this had been scribed, which was the last arm, we had to just give up because we were all like, "Whoa, what's happening? Where are we? Do you know where we are? Can you see the design? Where are we? Are we there?" And nobody could even think. And I just said, "Forget it." And we just finished it off with this little thing here, which, you know, didn't make a lot of sense, but looked like maybe like a little ghost holding a ball or something, you know, or a little human with his arms up, like a ghost. And then left it at that. And we came back and finished it again in a different formation. Basket weave again. That one was no mine, you know. As I say, if they haven't got the exclamation marks against it, they're probably mine, unless they're the ones I've explained aren't. But skipping through, that was a star map. A star map. So this was a daylight demonstration for the digital radio company, DAB radio company. I don't like doing font work. As you can see, Lucy Pringle was a good example of why I don't like doing font work. I tried doing the font. The font looks poor, but it was meant to be like an at, but an R instead of an A in the centre. But what was good was the technique we used for doing the oval. Because ovals are probably the hardest thing you can do, trying to make a crop circle, because you've got no central point that you can just scribe all the way around. It has to be dynamically changing as you go through it. The technique you use is you use 2 points, and you actually put the tape behind your back, and you actually walk with the tape behind you. Because the 2 points are actually holding the tape differently, it actually scribes you out into the oval. And it does it for you, so you don't have to think. It's a no-brainer. You just let the tape run behind your back, and it creates an oval for you. Anyway, That one, Devilly, very much liked because it had the thing in the middle. That's the one I got arrested for, the 7-fold star. Not very impressive, but it was to titillate Mr. Glickman, who said that a 7-fold is impossible to do. It's really hard to do 7. Well, you can do 6, you can do 8, you can do 9, 25, but you can't do 7. There we are, so we did him a 7. But unfortunately backfired on me with legal ramifications. Chair Hill car. This is the one I talk about with a time effect. We were running out of time, and I literally looked up at the sky and said, we need more time. And I asked people what was the time, and their clocks had gone back an hour. And I looked up at the sky, and the sky had gone back to how it was an hour previous. And we all went, whoa! There was even a doctor present with us, Dr. Simeon Hine. He testifies to having that strange experience and cannot explain it. So we had an hour of extra time. This is Allington. There's a mistake in this one. Here, 2 bits flattened when there should be 1 extra bit there, 1 extra bit there. I then replicated it in New Zealand for Japanese TV in the winter. Their winter is our summer. So we got taken down there in the winter, and I replicated it there to show that it could be done under controlled conditions with night vision cameras in complete darkness. That's on my YouTube channel if you want to look at it. I'm not getting pulled off the stage yet, so, okay. There's a basket weave in this one. A bit hard to see with the video projection, but closer up you can see there is a basket there. Now this one was actually in 2009. I did make that. And the reason I'm going to say I made it, because if anybody wants to arrest me for doing that as a memorial for my mum, who passed away that year, if anybody wants to arrest me for that, go ahead. That was for my mum. So, this is from a team who said it's okay, tell them we did this, throw it in there with your ones, Matt. This is not my design, I was not there when it was done. This was done very recently, but the team said, tell them it's man-made. These are friends of mine, did this. This was known as the hummingbird. Okay, they said throw a couple of other ones in there that we've done. That was known as the dragonfly. That's the hummingbird again. Dragonfly. The phoenix. All done in 3 fields next to each other as well, which is kind of interesting. And this big one called the Om, which, they actually came forward themselves and told people that this was man-made. People were like, no, it can't have been. This was gargantuan. Have a look how many tram lines it crosses, and how far it goes up the field. It's huge. It was absolutely enormous, that formation. So, I think I'm probably going to get asked to finish up, and I'm just going to give you my details. If you want to contact me, send me a mail through truthseekers666, and that's on YouTube, and you can get to see all the videos of us making crop circles and talking to people about questions they got. Unfortunately, I do swear a lot. I haven't sworn much here tonight. I promised myself I was going to, but I haven't actually had the guts to do it. So you can catch that on the YouTube channel. But I hope it's been interesting for you. You've had a world exclusive tonight, and I'm going to get my arse arrested. I hope it doesn't happen.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
As always, this is a new exclusive, isn't it? But this is a total new one even for us, that we're running late even after the first speaker. But we're only running 5 minutes late. So I think we can take, we've got time for a couple of questions for Matthew. Any questions? Anybody got questions? Okay, can I please have Greg, my young runner, and godson, because I'm too old and fat to run around and clamber up downstairs. Go, Mandy.
Matthew, obviously, as a sceptic as you know I am, I'm more than happy, yes. Your birthday morning is melting. Why don't you show us any of the videos of you making them? You've said they're on your YouTube site, I don't doubt that for a minute, yes. But I think your presentation tonight would have had much more impact if you just showed us even 15 seconds.
Yes. It took me a long time to get these photos together. I wanted to try and get as many as I could. It overran in terms of time for me putting it together because I just couldn't find half of them, like the stingray and things like that. Yes, I could have shown you the video footage. It is easy to find on my YouTube channel. It's freely available. There's even a documentary I did called Circle Makers, which explains to you stories of circle makers. It's all there. I could have brought the stuff from New Zealand, which was the real conditions. sorry if anybody's a little bit disappointed in the fact there's no video stuff of us doing formations. I want to actually get a television company to work with us in the UK. If anybody knows anybody who wants to go forward with this, we've got one who says possibly next year. It didn't happen this year, funding was pulled from it. I want to work in real conditions. Night time have to be legal, obviously, the farmer will have to be paid, and we'll put something down which we will keep completely secret, and we'll film it from start to end, and we'll have time-lapse footage from a crane point. We'll try and get a crane in there or something so you can see us, the whole thing, and we'll give everyone the time-lapse footage, show them afterwards that it definitely was man-made. But we need money to do it, you know, we need to do it legally, and it costs about £1,000 to do a small crop circle. So, you know, the big ones, you know, you're talking £3,000 or £4,000 with a crop.
And one final question then, again, as a sceptic, even though I do believe that they're all man-made, because I spoke to several people who've done them, will you next year take me on a circle-making trip?
If you want to come and do it with us illegally, I would
Obviously.
I would have a problem with that.
Why? I'm quite happy to do illegal things, as you know.
Yes,
Right.
Andy.
Well, we'll talk about it.
I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a hand for the two other hoaxers in the room tonight, Andy Roberts and David Clark.
David's not here tonight.
David,
He's not? Oh, he's not there. Right, okay.
well, he might be, probably in disguise somewhere,
Yes.
lurking.
Yes.
Every time I see David Clark, it looks like he's lurking or something. Okay, time for one more question. Do I go for Ronan? Or ladies first? No, it isn't. It's Mike Hallowell. I thought it was the lady next to you, Mike. Go up to Mike, up there.
It was a nice to talk about. I always enjoy your presentations. I've got you actually sort of slightly thorny one. I thought you've got a good explanation for this. Right? There's one thing sort of unsettled me a little bit. You said that I was at Bishops Cannings where you did a circle, and the farmer, you said, was a Christian, and he was a bit disturbed by it, and he shared the circle that way. You know,
Yes.
whatever I think these religious proclivities, right, we should have the respect for him. And he obviously disturbed him, so that's why he did what he did.
Yeah, he changed his mind, luckily.
Well, that's great, but then you went back afterwards and you did like all these squiggles.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping there was some more constructive purpose to it other than just to wait even further.
Well, put it like this. I did the sevenfold star, and I was arrested for that. And I went to court and admitted that I did the basket weave. And when the farmer heard that the basket weave was man-made, he was quite relieved, because he said, it's people doing it. He said, oh, I thought it was Satan, you know, and that's why I cut it out, because I didn't want people going in there and being affected by that satanic force. So he was actually very happy to find out it was humans, and subsequent circles which appeared on his land haven't been shaped out. So
What about the squiggles?
the squiggles, we do this sometimes, you know. I mean, it's a bit naughty, really. But you know, a farmer shapes your work out. You kind of go, well, you know, we'll just show them that we come back. You know, we're not going to just go away because you shaped your formation out. In fact, we might do 3, you know, in and around this area. And we make them really elongated so that you have to shave a massive area out. If you want to be spiteful, you know, then we'll work that way.
Just because it was on his land, I mean, that doesn't mean
I mean, you know, we weren't doing it specifically to target him. We were targeting the concept of shaving out works of art. I mean, we didn't have any axe to grind with that particular farmer, not at all. But simply that, you know, when you put a lot of time and effort into making a circle. I mean, of course, people would say he has a right to work that land and you've damaged his crop. But then again, farmers that charge money for people to enter the formation make a lot more money than the crop is worth usually. And in that case, the basket would have been an absolute peach. If he decided to monopolise on it, he could have made a lot of money out of that, but he decided to destroy it instead. And, you know...
To be fair, though, do you think there's any merit in the argument, right? You shouldn't just go on somebody's land and do stuff without asking. I mean, he is a farmer, and he works and he makes money out of it.
The reality of why people do it illegally is that we don't have the money. I don't have the money. I know the other circle makers don't have the money. Some of the circle makers not only don't work, they don't even claim any money from the government, you know, and they're living in caravans and things like that. Some of them, not all of them, but some, you know, and they literally they do little bits of work themselves. They don't pay tax, you know, and they kind of keep themselves out of the system. they can't afford to pay a farmer. Plus also it takes a lot of time, a lot of phone calls, a lot of turndowns. Farmers going, no, no, no. And it's much easier to say, that's a really nice location in the landscape. A circle would look brilliant there. Let's just do it. It's a lot easier. It's not right. Morally, it's not right. But then again, you could say, well, look at the wonderment that crop circles create for people. Plus the tourist industry. And if you weigh the things up against its art, and is it right, is it wrong? Banksy's work, for instance, I would class Banksy as a much better artist than myself, and doing better work than most of the crop circles that are out there. But if you look at the effect that Banksy's work has, and people say, well, you know, it's graffiti, but then people say, don't tear it down. It's too good. Leave it there on that building. It's actually enhancing the building. The graffiti is better than just a blank field. So, if the crop circles weren't there, would the subject and would people suffer by not having the art form as it is, and not have the paranormal experiences as well? And I think it's a justification, from my point of view, to actually be doing it, because we've touched on a new level with paranormal, and it gives people so much more that I feel justified. I can't win in a court of law with that argument, but that's the way I've been working for many years now. We take it seriously. We think other people take it seriously.
Thanks for an honest answer.
Thank you. Thanks.
I've known Matthew for 13 years, isn't it? One morning, I'd actually appeared in one of the Sunday newspapers, having sold them some pictures that I thought were genuine. I got woken up at an unfeasible hour of the morning by this little Welsh voice saying, I'm not going to try and do the accent, I can't, but saying, Mr. Down, do you realise you are selling fake photographs? I said something very rude, slammed the phone down, and we didn't speak to each other for about 2 years. We've been great friends ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Williams.